Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing good. So, today we are going to see another kind of delegate, which is the action delegate. We are actually going to discuss about both of these variants of delegates, that is, action as well as func delegate. But in today's lesson, we are going to see about the action delegate. Now, what exactly is action delegate? As the name suggests, it is also a kind of a delegate, but it actually uh, allows all those functions that have no return type or that has a return type of void, but can either accept or not accept any number of parameters. They can actually be subscribed by this action delegate. So let's see an example of how and what actually is an action delegate. All right. So let's see. Let's create a new C# script, mono behavior script. Let's name it as action example, action example. That would make sense. And let us make one more script, which will be known as let's name it as something which would make sense. Let's say example. Okay. All right. So we have these two scripts that have been created, and let's see how the action delegate actually works. Okay. So action delegate in action. All right. All right. So earlier, what we used to do is, let's say if we used to create a delegate, we would use to do something like this. Let's say public delegate void on action, right? And then either we would create a either we would create a delegate variable or an event. Let's say something like this: public on action, or something like this: public static event on action event. Okay, event. All right. So this would be our approach uh, that we have seen earlier, right? Now, how the action delegate makes our life easier is by giving us the exact functionality as well as the power of a delegate, which we have been creating so far like this, either with the help of a delegate variable or with the help of an event, right? But with the help of action, we can actually avoid writing these many lines of code and simply write something like this. So public action and delegate name, let's say on action, right? Now, what this means is, what this means is that, as I've told you earlier, that action delegate is actually a kind of a delegate that is going to allow only those functions to be subscribed to this action delegate, which has a return type of void and can or cannot have a parameter. Okay, let's see what I mean by that. Uh, let's go back to Unity. Let's open up this example script. Allow Unity to load. Okay, just finished loading. Now, okay. So in example, let's create a function. Let's create a function. For example, public void and functionality kind of that functionality. So my idea here is just to demonstrate you an example where we are going to write some text on the screen. or we are going to change the scale of the game object. Okay, so let's say that kind of thing we are going to write here. Let's say we are going to change the scale of the game object. So let's print over here or type over here, say game object. I'm just making use of the IntelliSense, and so what we are doing is we are actually referring to this game object. That means the game object on which this script has been attached as a component. So this dot game object dot transform dot local scale is equal to new vector 3 and the size that we want to have. Let's say the initial size by default for any game object inside Unity is 111. We'll keep it at 444 just to make sure and to identify that the changes have been made by changing the scale. So now let's see how this functionality is going to be subscribed by action. So let's make it as public static action delegate. Okay, and upon start, upon start, we are checking whether on action is not null. If it is not null, then simply call my action. Okay, pretty much the same power, same responsibility that a simple delegate allows. Uh, the similar kind of functionalities and feature is provided by action delegate as well. Okay, it provides us the same robustness, same flexibility, same modularization as well as loose coupling. All right. So now, since we have it as a static variable there, we can actually make use of it. Let's utilize it inside the onEnable function, and it will be something like uh, so what was the name of it? Yeah, action example, right? Action example dot, and what was the name of the uh, action delegate? On action, right? Yeah, on action. So yeah, on action plus equals, it will be equal to my functionality. Okay, and inside on disable will be unsubscribing our function. On disable, what happened? Something happened, right? On disable, all right, and will be unsubscribing this function from my delegate. Okay, so this function has a return type of void and is not having any parameters, so that is easily going to be subscribed as well as unsubscribed by this action delegate. The main anchor point to remember when we are reading about anchor is that it only uh, is meant for those functions that have a return type of void. Having a parameter as well as no parameter by that function is its own choice. They can have or not have the parameter, but its return type should be void. Only those functions can go inside this delegate. Okay. Now let's see. Let's go back to Unity. Allow Unity to load. And then let's make a couple of game objects over here, this time cylinder, and let's take in one more game object, that is let's take, yeah, cube will define, and I'm just keeping them apart just to make sure that if their sizes increase they would not overlap each other, right? So let's attach this action example script to this game object, and to these game object I'll be attaching the example one. Okay, save my Unity scene and then play. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it works. So that's the power and the beauty of a delegate. whether it is a normal delegate or action delegate. It's just a matter of saving space as well as saving some time typing in all those lines of code for delegate for like for example creating a delegate first of all and then creating either a delegate variable or an event. All those can be done with this simple line of code. Okay, now you can see that this scale has been changed to 4. Okay, while so if let's say for example we want any function to have some kind of parameters, let's say I want this function to have some kind of parameter, let's say I'll write another function, so let's say public void uh, public void mhm, say yeah uh, enable game object. Okay, new obj, right? So we can have a parameters as well, a parameter as well in this function or number of parameters. Okay, and likewise here our action can actually contain that uh, parameter type. That is the data type of the parameter. Let's say I want um I want those functions to be subscribed by the action that has a return type of void but accepts a parameter of type game object. So yeah, this is how it will behave. And what my uh, approach to this would be something like, let's say I'm going to take a reference of a game object obj over here, and then we are actually passing this here, and to my game object over here, what am I supposed to do is, why is this throwing an error? No overload functionality. Okay, all right, yeah, because now my action delegate is expecting a parameter of type game object. This won't go now because this is not accepting any parameter. This is a blank. This is just a function that has a return type of void and does not accept any parameter. But this game object, this function will go in this delegate now. See, gone are those errors. And what we would do is, let's say this dot game object dot set active true. Hold on, let's check how it behaves. To my game object uh, game object what however you may say. So to my this game object I have this script action example attached as a component, and I'm going to simply attach this capsule as a obj. I want to delete this, and I want to set this as set its active status as false. Now this time when I play the scene, this capsule should get activated. So let's see. No, it does not. It does not get activated. Let's see what has happened. Let us see what has happened now. All right. So this script won't be called because my game object is actually disabled. So what my approach would be is to keep this uh, script on some other game object. Let's remove it from here, remove component, and keep it here. Okay, example. And now let's play the Unity scene and see how it behaves. All right, so we don't see the game object getting activated still. Let's see what's the problem. We are actually checking it inside null. Null, we are passing this game object. All right. If we are passing this game object, it should be sent to this. Uh, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. My bad. So it should be something like this. Okay, my bad. What I was doing here is I was actually setting this dot game object. That means the game object on which this example script has been attached. And this example script was attached to this game object. So this is already active and it has no prominent presence inside the scene. So you won't see because this is an empty game object. Hence, we need to pass a reference of this game object, which we are passing through the delegate to this function. Now see, it should work. All right. So now we can see the capsule getting shown inside the scene uh, as soon as the scene plays, right? So that is how the action delegate works. So you can actually have a list of uh, data types that can be passed over here inside the um, action uh, generic list, and then accordingly you can subscribe or unsubscribe the functions that obey to this signature of the delegate. All right. So if you have any doubts, do let me know in the comments. However, keep on practicing. Okay. So yeah, see you in the lesson. Thank you. Bye.